Hello and welcome to the Ability Podcast. I'm Chris McCarthy.
And I'm Dino Schulatz.
And today is our very first opportunity to talk about this new idea and what is ability. And that's ability spelled with an E.
Very important.
And you'll find out why shortly. So what we want to do is create a network that connects special demographics, so people with disabilities, special needs, to get more involved in environmental activities. And there's a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what we're going to do is go through some of the ideas that we have, and this first video is really us figuring out how we're going to make everything happen. And I hope that as you're viewing, you could maybe generate some ideas. And this is supposed to be a way for us to build a nonprofit into something actually amazing based on feedback that we get from viewers and other people out there that might be, as you say, neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Or considered special needs, or really, there's a million different things that we can touch on.
Yeah, I think doing it and then getting the feedback from the audience about what is needed if people have their experiences of their own, you know what I mean, is going to be very helpful. I think the flexibility of it is what's going to make it successful. So.
Right. So what we're asked, what is ability? So I believe in my experience and my background, I've worked with people with special needs, and we don't say special needs in the business that I'm running, which we'll talk about. We have abilities, and everybody everywhere has an ability, and we want to cultivate the abilities that people currently have and utilize those skills to do amazing things out in the world.
I don't know. Absolutely. I think that's probably the best way to say it.
Right. You know, your elevator pitch situation, obviously that's going to evolve. Your mission statement evolves. And right now is a high level overview of the dream, So I guess we'll just jump right into the conversations about, for example, do you have experience with people who might be autistic or have Down syndrome, or in our case, riddled with ADHD?
Yeah, for full disclosure, we both are extremely ADHD. So the stream of consciousness will be quite humorous over time.
And you're going to see that in future videos, how we're going to incorporate how our brain works and kind of show you how things are happening in this bee's nest here.
Yeah, me and my Ninja Turtle mug and all the caffeine in it are going to help that.
I got Homer helping me out this morning.
I guess, to answer your question, which I almost went away from, is yes. I mean, throughout life, I think everybody runs into it. Being in the finance world, autism would probably be the one that I ran into the most. And just seeing the immense ability of people that, did things differently, but had skill sets that I thought were amazing. Me being a full spectrum ADHD, which means I have type 1 and type 2. It means that when I tried to behave like a neurotypical person, it became frustrating, but understanding that I was neurodivergent was a freeing, experience. And now I'm on a journey to build a life aligned with my ADHD instead of trying to fight it. And I think if we can bring that to, people, and anybody else that's feeling the same. And nature was always a big a thing with me, and it's a place I found peace. So it's crossing a few things that I've found successful in the past, and that I think are aligned with the journey I'm on personally. So we don't have all the answers, you know what I mean? But we're putting it out there and hoping connected with other people that have the same questions, I think.
Well, and so from my perspective, so I have a lot of experience with making videos and social media and stuff for the organization that I've been running for 12 years. And but I've never actually watched or listened to a podcast. So, and if you have,
yeah,
I feel like that's going to be helpful because I have no idea how it's supposed to look or how it's supposed to go, and that's probably a good thing because I really don't have anything to copy.
It's going to be way more authentic that way. We're just going to kind of run with it and see what happens. But you did say something that I wanted to touch on. So you've been working in this, this field, for lack of a better word, for 12 years. Can you say like what you've been doing and the company that you currently have? Speak more about it.
I would love to. So, approximately 12 years ago, I was running a painting company and painting houses every single day. Got about 5,000 homes under my belt that I've painted or hired, a group of painters to paint. And I also had my real estate license at the same time. So there was a connection between those two things where I would sell a house or paint a house or both.
Mm-hmm.
And every single customer would ask me, how do I get rid of all of these cans of paint that came with the house? Mm-hmm. Or I'm now changing colors in this home and all of this touch-up paint that was left behind.
Yeah.
I have no need to use it. So what do I do with it? And at the time, we're in the Chicagoland area. There really wasn't a great solution. And so I, at the same time, was also working with an organization that has about 300 individuals with special needs that live on a campus. And so I would bring my company in and paint all of these homes. And I just absolutely fell in love with the people. So
that's cool.
I started to connect the dots and say, hey, there could be opportunities for people with disabilities to gather all of this paint that people don't want anymore.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can refilter all of it and turn it into a new paint product again. And there was a few places in the country that were doing it, but there was nothing here. So I created an organization called Earth Paint, which you should be able to see on our cool little tablecloth down here. And what Earth Paint was created to do was to help a customer reasonably get rid of something that should not be in a landfill.
Yeah.
And empowering people with disabilities to have a job that they get paid for. And Earth Paint came to be, and it was wildly successful right off the bat because you think about like a bake sale. So we had a product that people were willing to pay us a donation fee to get rid of the paint because they knew that all of the money was going to go to people with disabilities. And so throughout the 12 years, we've had more than 30 adults with disabilities that I've worked with in every different arena that you could possibly imagine, including disabled veterans, people with autism, people with Downs, people with cerebral palsy. And I'm hoping to talk more about that in future episodes that we create and really kind of dive into each one of those areas.
Yeah.
And really tell people, like in my experience, everybody had an ability. And we started with the abilities that people have, and then we build skills around that. And so this ability network kind of came to be because I said, why can't we do that with more things than just paint?
Yeah. It makes sense to me. I mean, if you're focusing on maximizing someone's strengths and minimizing weaknesses, everybody needs that. You know what I mean? And so I feel like the organic way that came to light by you just, trying to be of service, you know what I mean, to the world, right. And do something good. And that kind of came to fruition from there. That's my favorite part about this. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Well, and I realize that what we do here at Earth Paint, and we're recording this in one of the rooms at Earth Paint right now, which that our locations are probably going to change a lot because we want to be more dynamic. But there was a lot of people that came here that were special needs or considered not neurotypical, and they tried out what we do, and it didn't fit for them. And so in the back of my mind, I was like, oh my gosh, what could this person do? What could we create? What kind of opportunities do we already have out there in the world that we're saying no to that we can now say yes to? And I think the Ability Network and ability.org is going to help connect all of these people and all of these groups of people to find activities, maybe find a job, build some skills, connect with people so that everybody anywhere can make an impact specifically on the environment for now.
Yeah,
and we could see
harnessing
where
a
it
skill set.
evolves.
Yeah, you're harnessing you're developing new skills. You're finding, like, I found that you can't intellectually think about what you're passionate about. You can only really do that by doing things and figuring out what you're good at, and then it's a feeling you get from like doing the thing and developing a new skill. So I think that gives a window of opportunity to all those people as well to learn as many new things as possible, find out what they're good at, find out what they love to do. And I mean, if you're passionate about something, you never work a day in your life. It's not a cliche. It's true. It's the truest thing that I know. So,
It's very true. And I can honestly say I've spent the last 12 years really wanting to be at work and loving the randomness that comes my way. I think you said once that you thrive on chaos.
Yes, absolutely. I was a day trader at the Chicago Board of Trade. Is that not the epitome of thriving on chaos? Then,
I don't even know how you do it.
Yeah, well, I did it until 2008, but it was it's but again, that's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Like you seek out hard things to do, but like your wife said, as soon as you're done with the hard part and you get 80% done, finishing the task is what gets the accomplishment, or you do all that work for a reason. But it seems to be when you're neurodivergent or you're ADHD, like you just want to do you enjoy doing the hard thing, but sometimes then don't reap the benefits from getting that task completed. Because you can't finish it off.
Yeah, I have no interest in finishing a task. However, the people that I consider family now, that are teammates, that are people who are employed by Earth Paint, they're the ones that thrive on completing the task.
Yeah.
And I think that is an ability and almost a superpower that comes with the autism spectrum.
Yeah. There's some like yin and yang between ADHD and autism. You know what I mean? And there's some crossover, but I can see like how the blending of the two people working together can provide strengths and they kind of like pick each other up. You know what I mean? In a way,
Right.
If you're the idea man and you're dynamic and creative and can speak with the people and sense a room real well, and then you can come up with an idea, and then you can have help from somebody else to see it to fruition and see it through.
Right.
I mean, that's takes a
it takes a village, right? Well, and that's the biggest thing that I said with calling it an ability network.
Yeah.
Is okay. So we're going to generate a lot of different ideas in-house, but I'm really excited about the fact that if we get viewers, and I hope we do, and if this is out there in the universe and the internet for years, and we can go back and watch this video and see, wow, look at how far we've come.
Oh yeah, we're gonna make fun of ourselves for sure by episode 200. This is gonna be we're gonna be laughing.
Yeah.
Sure.
And in the meantime, can we connect with people who are willing to send out ideas? Hey, my son or daughter was really successful doing this. Have you ever done this thing?
So right when we're here, do you have a specific question that you want to propose to the potential audience? Just something direct that you want to send out there, along the lines of like, do you have ideas that help neurodivergent people connect with nature in different ways? Is that a question, or do you have something that you would want to say that would be different than that? And like I said, no bad ideas. We're just trying to be stream of conscious here to help any way we can.
So my brain works like a beehive, and I've got ideas floating all around, and it's trying to pick the one that's going to work. And yes, do I have a call of action? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you yourself somebody who's considered non-neurotypical? And
it's tough. The words are tough.
And verbiage and everything. So Are you struggling in the world to find a place because you might have autism, or do you have a family member that's experiencing that? Can you bring your challenges
Mm-hmm.
to Ability so that we can connect a larger group of people to
Yeah.
try and create some solutions? Now, specifically because I've been in the recycling world,
Mm-hmm.
specific to paint. Um, I know that there's a lot of different opportunities out there, and we have notes here so that we can stay on topic for your benefit. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Even with the notes, it's tough. Don't get me wrong, but
I think that's what's going to make this fun.
yeah.
But so, we've done recycling. So, what other opportunities are there for groups of people with disabilities to collect products that need to be recycled?
Understood. Okay.
Have I missed something in this world because I've been so focused on this one particular product line?
Yeah.
Because I know we do events and groups,
Mm-hmm.
like things with municipalities where they have, the collecting, shredding, papers to shred, um, car batteries. Some of the other organizations that we work with collect all sorts of things like textbooks,
Mm-hmm.
and we can dive into those different areas. But I mean, do you live in an area of the country where you don't have something that you want?
Yeah.
And how can we connect the people who are eager to get together, eager to help,
Yeah.
and put all of those superpowers together and connect all of the abilities that people have in a group to create something amazing or recycle something?
It's like all
Or
the puzzles like fitting to, all the puzzle pieces fitting together perfectly. Everybody's trying to do something that they love to do and that they're good at and that helps this environment. I mean, because from a high level, which I can't help but do, we have a straight line economy. We build things, you know what I mean, and we dispose of them, right? So the large long term goal would be to create a circular economy where there's a way to there's money to be we create things and then there's a secondary business that breaks them back down to their original, you know what I mean, their original materials that then can be remade. And so we're not pulling things from the ground, using them and disposing of them. That's the high level thing. But until we get to that point, you know what I mean, we need to do the least amount of damage possible, one, and then help people just feel at peace. Because when I'm out in nature, I'm from Chicago, but I lived in Las Vegas in California. In California, I started a hike group. Yeah, believe me, I was the poor man out there. But living in California, I started a hiking group that went from like 20 people to like 400 very quickly. And we would just set a hike and 20, 30 people would show up. And then we go eat and like connect afterwards. And when I lived in Las Vegas, it is the largest city closest to the most national parks. And I went to as many as I could. And when I'm in Zion or in the Grand Canyon or in the Sequoia National Forest with the big trees, I just felt a sense of peace that I don't feel when I'm on concrete all the time. So it just, that connection, that passion for me is something that I want as many people to experience as possible, and or feel like they're contributing to maintaining that. You know what I mean? And
right,
keeping it alive. You know what I mean? Either one of those. So I think they all connect in a way. And so keeping it broad is good, like you said, until we get feedback, and that helps us narrow it down to specific tasks. But
right, and I've come up with a pretty robust list
yeah, what do you got?
of tasks and stuff. Well, I mean, think about, so if we're going to talk about what you said with nature and hiking. Okay, so what if there's a parent group or just a new parent that's trying to find a group that can connect with their son or daughter, or maybe a sibling, that you can find a hiking group that is specifically tailored to the abilities that those people have, because we know that it might be a little bit different. Yeah. And there might be some more supervision required. And we want to be prepared for that and ready for that, and make sure that it's an excellent experience specific to like a hiking thing.
Yeah.
Can we teach people things like composting? Uh, Community gardens. Can we create groups and connect groups to create something like that? That
Seed
is,
exchanges, right?
yeah, I love the idea of a seed exchange
Me
or like
too.
a plant exchange.
Me too. Yeah.
Here in Chicago, I'm obsessed with hostas. And I know there's a million different kinds, and some people like exchange plants. Well, could you create almost like a fundraising event
Yeah.
to generate revenue or proceeds to support the growth of an organization, to be able to say, hey, we want to create this seed exchange or this hosta exchange? And obviously, there's a million different things that could be done. But
you know what my ADHD thought sidebar? My favorite animal fact is that squirrels lose 80% of the nuts that they bury, and because they're so ADHD at their job, their one job, they plant more trees than any other animal on the planet.
There's a reason why I love squirrels. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
I know, I
now.
love it. I laugh every time I hear that
Yeah.
stat. I love it.
That's great. And you know what? And a lot of people who do know me know that I'm planting seeds all the time when it comes to ideas.
Yes.
And how many of those ideas actually came to be because there's not enough time in the day, there's not enough help, there's not enough people out there where I could say, hey, we've got this really great idea and we want to do this. Well, I think Ability Network could change that.
Yeah.
You know, and throw this idea out there.
Make it more efficient.
Yeah, and connect people to that idea, and those who are willing to dive into it for a short amount of time or a longer period of time, see those ideas come to fruition more fluidly.
Those apps exist in other realms, like I'm sober, by the way, and which is another spin-off of
that's another episode that we'll dive into.
Yeah. But there's an app through sobriety called Phoenix, and it's not tied to any specific type of being sober, but it is just a national app that has free events that people that as you travel or you live in an area, you can look up and you will go to those events with other people that are sober only, and they're only for that. So I see that same structure. Like you log on an account, you say kind of who you are, and then there's events created in your area or that are funneled through nature or art or sport, whatever it is that would connect people that want to do something. And I think that would be a great way to make it more efficient. Exactly like you said.
And I love that you touched on art, because in the world that I live in here, where we're working with paint all the time, which it's kind of funny that I don't have more paintings and things up in this room, which
they're coming, don't worry.
Yeah. I do know that there are art programs for people with disabilities, and can we show the world the amazing things that can be made by people who are maybe nonverbal? Maybe it's somebody that has this amazing artistic ability who can't live on their own and really don't have any way to connect the world to the art that they make. Well, I would like to use the Ability Network to change that for people. So
I like it.
We also have some employees here at Earth Paint who are really into sports and fitness. And I know that we have one young man who's just amazing at golf.
Oh, cool.
And so what do charities do? They have golf events.
Yeah.
So can we connect?
And you're out in nature for 4 hours. That's a
beautiful thing, right? Yeah. I know.
I think that's why I love golf.
So can we connect the superpower that this young man has with golf and encourage more people to maybe take up that activity? And that's just one example. I've got another person here who he comes in early every morning and he does an exercise routine. I mean, he's doing jumping jacks and calisthenics and stuff, and he's got music playing. How many different groups are out there that could be connected in the world of special needs fitness? And I know that exists too. So yeah, there's just a huge amount of potential. And I feel like I haven't found something that's just a high level connection to all of those different groups.
Yeah.
So to be the Google of special needs activities could be.
The ideas you provide help harness it. I think the funding that we generate helps to build ways to connect more. It's all about just funneling it all back into the system of connecting more people. That's all it is. And I think my motivation for it is, it makes me feel good to spend my time doing this, and I feel passionate about the things that we're trying to do because I've experienced them personally in my own way, and I hope that other people connect with them, as well. And I think that's the meaning of life. There's a Japanese word called ikigai, and it's the cross between what you love to do, what you're good at, and what society needs from you. And that's your mission in life, is to find your ikigai. I might be saying it wrong. And I read that and it never left my brain. And I always think of trying to find that in each area of my life, and I think that's part of this goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and so that leads me into talking about how do you fund an
Oh,
organization
yeah.
like this? How do you fund an idea like that? And we touched on the golf thing. So there's always sponsors for golf events and ticket sales and stuff like that. And that's a very typical thing that nonprofits do because we know that people get involved in golf events. But so what are some other ideas to generate sponsorships? Well, the website alone is going to have a cost associated with it. To build like a Facebook of just the things that we're doing, there's going to be a cost associated with that. And how do we encourage and get sponsors excited about funding something that could be so amazing?
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, is it's not going to be a large, one income stream. It's going to be a lot of micro income streams. I feel like that's the way that I see it. From as this podcast develops, the things that we will have around us will be refurbished materials from that can be purchased. There'll be events. There'll be in as an event, you gather more ideas, feedback from our audience as well. I love the golf idea. I love maybe working with businesses and recycling their goods, and what I mean, and not having to pay an outside service to just take it to a dumpster and do it the quickest way. Donating to us, and then we use that labor to do it the right way. I mean, and so I think,
and there's volunteer activities with that, but there's also paid activities for people who are underemployed. That fall
skills
within this whole area of special needs that are really looking for opportunities and can be compensated for all of the activities that we're trying to impose upon them. I guess,
I mean,
what can you do to make the world a better place? And then how can we fund the ongoing situation?
Well, I mean, I wish money didn't have to be a part of it. I could just do all the things I want without it. But it is the medium of exchange in this world, and that's how it works. And people, use money to show what they care about, and that's just kind of how it works. So we're just trying to find the best ways to grow this and keep it alive, and have its form that it takes be the most effective that it can be for the most people. Anything else that you can think about talking about topic wise in the moment that you want to make sure is touched on right now?
So I know that you had mentioned events, and I don't know if I really dived into events, but I think events could be an amazing way to connect groups of people too. So do you start with small groups of people and come together with events? Is the golf outing a first thing that you do? Is a little mixer the first thing that you do?
Yeah.
Because I know music alone is a huge part of every day for me, and every day for my team.
Live music is one of my favorite things in the world too.
How do we connect live music then to an event that would benefit groups of people, and benefit the direction to which this company wants to make an impact with people and the environment? And there's almost too many ideas right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it's you're finding things that you resonate with, right, and that make your life better. It's helping people build a life aligned with who they are as a person, and not trying to be something that they're not. I think that's okay. And so the more people we can help do that, And if music is something that resonates with you and motivates you and can change your mood like that, when I got sober, I didn't know if I was going to love live music as much, and I love it more. And so that's what showed me that it wasn't the people and the scene. It was just the feeling of being there with a bunch of other people and having all of you be synced up to this one event that's happening. That's not that common in societies, to have thousands of people be moving to the same beat and hearing, and when you're live at a concert, you can feel the music as well instead of it just being in your ears, and there's a difference there. And so I definitely love the live music idea. That's a great idea.
And that probably would be an amazing thing for like the deaf and hard of hearing community, which we want to help support if possible. I grew up in a small town called Delavan, Wisconsin, and that is the place where the Wisconsin School for the Deaf is. So my whole life, I always wanted to learn sign language, and I know a few things like orange, and, and thank you. And
most mine are profanity, so I'm not trying to practice them.
Right, and so I mean that's a huge opportunity to help people, and if it came together with music or an event that could benefit that, that's another demographic, I guess you could call it, that we would like to connect and utilize the events to then share all of the different ideas and all of the different things that people are doing out there, and maybe you could align with another different group, and you could be part of a bigger thing like that the Ability wants to create.
I mean, I think, because of its diversity and what its mission is, I think connecting with other nonprofits is absolutely something that would happen and needs to happen. Aligning with their goals and creating an event together, or no, absolutely, that makes sense to me as well. I think it's something that needs, like I said, feedback from people that believe in the mission, and just evolution as we continue to go, and speaking and getting out there and talking to as many people as possible, and have it morph into the thing that is needed the most at the time, and adding new and building off new things as it goes. You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah. I mean, how much feedback can you get to say, oh, wow, this is the one thing that I think we would be really great on focusing for now, and then let that evolve into the next thing.
And we're not going to just do one thing. I mean, just because we can't, it's physically impossible for our brains to do that. So
no, I'm already thinking about
all the things all the time, and that's why we need your help. I need your help to tell me what to focus on, because otherwise I will focus on all of the things. So
yes, and I will do my best to complete 80% of it, and then 20%.
And then you got to help me with the other 20.
Right? Yeah, we're going to really rely on you to help us complete the task,
to bring it home.
Yeah,
cross the finish line for us.
Absolutely.
Oh man,
so
it's tough sometimes being us.
I you know what? Yeah, but I think it's great too.
I love it.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that think that. And
I know.
I would like to hear from those people. So, I mean, are there opportunities, do you think, for us to have guests? And
yes. I mean, I would love to have guests aligned. I had 3 people, since I brought it up, text me about them wanting to be. Wow. One of them one of them travels in, and she is a psychologist for autistic children. That's what she does for a living. And so her connection to their needs are way deeper than anything that we would ever understand. And so I will be speaking to her shortly. There's a doctor that I knew from California as well that is a holistic medicine. She's a doctor of Eastern instead of Western medicine, and very into kind of connecting the holistic mindset with and being the healthiest version of you without medication and things like that.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'd be very interested in what she has to say about natural solutions to everything. Of course, after being sober, I didn't want to be on Adderall anymore. And so what I found is being physically active every day helps do the same thing that taking Adderall used to do for me. So, caffeine and the gym is really my current solution. And
dopamine, serotonin.
It's finding healthier versions to do the same thing. That's it.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's what I love, and any help with that. But those are the 2 that popped in mind. But they're having other people speak so they're not just listening to us two all the time. Because
I don't know enough
honest,
about
we're not
any
that
one
cool.
particular thing.
Yeah, we're not that
to
cool.
Be an expert on it. We are here to connect the dots.
Yeah, we need to bring in cooler people than us, so it's okay. We'll do that for sure.
And then we get cooler.
Yeah, exactly.
That's by association.
I want to learn things. I want people to make me cooler, please.
Yes, absolutely. And make us awesome.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, man.
So I guess that could very well wrap up our first inaugural experimental dream idea.
80% of this will be funny outtakes, I'm sure, but no, I love the mission. You want to close this up here and say thank you?
Thank you. I said it. So this is, like I said, this is an evolving idea.
Mm-hmm.
And so anybody, anywhere that took the time to watch this, please feel free to reach out to us in any way that suits you. And when it comes to ideas, we're open to everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then hopefully we get tons. And it takes us a while to respond. And if one of us responds right away, we're going to need more ideas then, because that means, we didn't get a lot of it. But no, I'm optimistic.
Super optimistic. Yeah, I'm super optimistic about this. Locations may be changing. Guests will be on. These things are going to continue to grow. We're going to have really funny things on this desk that will be popping up. So please come back for episode 2. You know what? Kick it off. What are we going to talk about in the next episode?
So I think, what do you and I know about the most in our experience in life?
Well, I mean, the best thing we can do is talk about our own experiences. So I'd say, speaking about ADHD and being neurodivergent in our childhood, undiagnosed, and then after knowing that you are, the things that have worked for you, what I mean, and empowering the person you are and building a life aligned with who you are instead of trying to be something you're not. That's what I'm most passionate about. So if that's cool with you, that's what I'm going to talk about.
I'm excited about that because we got two different sides of the table where I had never had access to any medication to help with ADHD. And so I was all on my own, whereas you did have experience with the medications that were available for that. And I would love to hear how that worked for you or didn't work for you.
Yeah.
And how being...
I'll save my answer for next episode.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, there's more to talk about, and we have to talk about a lot of different things so that we can keep y'all interested.
ADHD is a superpower. Stay tuned.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for actually watching, and hopefully, if this was posted years ago, you've seen us turn this into something more amazing than we ever thought of right now. So
hopefully we're sitting next to you laughing at ourselves right now. So
right. So I obviously have the responsibility of asking for subscribers and for shares and to like posts, because I watch enough of YouTube videos with my kids, and I know that drives things as much as it annoys me. I feel like it's a really important way to get our message out there, and so we will rely on you for those things that every other podcaster and YouTuber asks for. So I guess we're going to ask as well.
I love it.
So support us by communicating with us and sharing these ideas. So in the meantime, we'll see you next time.
Take care.
The ADHD moment happened right there. Takes a village, right? Well,
takes a
village, right? Well,
takes a
village, right? Well,
takes a
village, right? Well,
takes a
village, right? Well.